Well, hi everybody. Welcome to Showcase Your Beers with Pip. And today my special guest is Joy Reynolds, who is a fantastic, very experienced meditation teacher, over 20 years. And she's joining me today to talk about her journey, her story, her business, and share some of her skills with us. So welcome to the show, Joy Reynolds. How are you?
Great. Thanks, Pip. Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Pleasure. It's always interesting to talk to somebody who has been on such a long journey with meditation or with whatever their special skill is. You do meditation in lots of different environments, but I think it's really interesting to hear people's stories of how they got to where they are. So maybe you could share with us how you got to be teaching meditation after all this time.
Yep, sure. Well, it goes back to over 20 years ago now, probably 23 or 24 years ago. And my introduction to meditation was through and often is for many people, through a time in my life where there was a bit of a crisis going on, and you have those moments. And it was not only a crisis that was happening in my life. I had a marriage breakup, and then I was a single mum, and I was kind of an angry person that didn't really know who I was, and thought my life was over, all of those things. And then what happened was my daughter, who was going into secondary school, was having some difficulties at school, and she was being bullied at school, and I was trying to help her deal with that. And then she was diagnosed with depression and anxiety as a result of that. Maybe as a result of that, maybe not. Maybe that would have happened anyway for her, but she was having some panic attacks and things like that. So I was wanting to support her in the best way I could without her going on to medication and those sorts of things.
Yeah.
So we tried a few different things, healings and a few kinesiology and a few other things. But a colleague of mine, I was working in corporate at the time, and a colleague of mine suggested meditation. And I didn't know anything about meditation. And it was something that, I felt that wasn't something that I would want to be doing.
Yeah.
But I thought, look, I'll go along to a meditation center for my daughter. I'll go and check it all out for her, because I just didn't want to put a child in an environment full of hippies, which is what I thought it was at the time.
Yep.
That was my perception.
It was an unknown entity for you, wasn't it?
It wasn't unknown, and it was, a long time ago. It was, that it's not as it's very mainstream now, but it wasn't that many years ago.
Sure.
Yeah, so I thought, well, I'll go along and check this out.
Yeah.
And I went to a meditation center. I was living in Melbourne at the time, and walked into a meditation center. And as I stepped in, I can still remember it now as if it was yesterday. Like I can see myself walking in that door, and it's like I put my first foot into the door as the front door opened, walked in, and there was this wave of like peace and love, this beautiful feeling as I walked in that door. And it was like, wow. And it's like it just surrounded me. It was just beautiful. And that was just the room where I take my shoes off.
Wow.
And that's how powerful meditation is, meditating in a room or a space. That energy is there. Yes, in groups. Yes, and that energy stays there. So then I walked into the room where the meditation was, and there are a number of people there sitting down, different chairs. So I just sat myself down, having no idea what to do, and there was a teacher up the front. So I just sat in a comfy chair and closed my eyes, because that's what everyone else seemed to be doing.
Yeah.
So I'll just sit here and close my eyes. And it was just beautiful. And I realized that this is actually what I'd been looking for my whole life, without knowing. I just thought, this is where it's like I'd come home to something. I
Wow.
couldn't explain the feeling. The energy was just beautiful. I didn't know. I just closed my eyes and felt love and peace. And it was just this most incredible feeling. I thought, wow, this is where I'm meant to be. This is what I'm meant to be doing. And I knew at that moment that this is something that I would need to practice. I just have that knowing. And
Mm.
then as the meditation came to a close, the teacher spoke and there was a little bit of a class, and I left that center that day or that evening saying to myself, I'm going to go to India. I'm going to study meditate, like my whole life in that
Yeah.
moment. It was
Wow.
the beginning of a healing journey for me, the beginning of, an awakening. It's like I
Mhm.
woke up at that
Mm.
moment.
Mm.
So, and that's what I did. I came away and I did the meditation courses and lots of courses. I attended the center regularly. I was meditating daily, and I introduced meditation to my daughter, to both
You
my
did.
children.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they actually went along and did one of their courses. They were probably a little bit young to understand, a lot of the theory around it,
Yeah.
but it
Mm.
has benefited them in their lives and still does now to this day. They're adults now, but
Yeah.
and that was the start of the journey, and that just led on to so many things for me. I went to India. I did.
Mm.
And studied meditation there, and I attended many meditation retreats around the world. I would
Yes.
travel to go to retreats, and did lots of different retreats, and then I started teaching it, and I
Yeah.
was teaching it in my workplace.
Yeah. So
I,
what inspired you to go to the teaching bit? Because obviously you did it for yourself initially.
yeah,
And then I know for me, I was doing my Reiki practice and my meditation and that healing stuff for me initially. And I never even thought of anybody else to begin with. And then there was something that shifted. At a certain point, I started to go, oh, maybe somebody else would like to learn this. Or maybe, I could teach my friends this, or and it's something shifted in my brain, my psyche, my heart, that I didn't just want to keep it for myself. I wanted to share it with other people. Or did you know that from the very beginning? I mean, I know you went for your daughter, but was it the shift to teaching other people? What
yeah.
happened to you there at that point?
Yeah, well, it was just for me. I mean,
Mm.
I would never have thought that I would be teaching this.
Right.
Not for a minute. I was just
No,
doing
neither
it
did I.
for
Yeah.
myself, and
Yeah.
I loved what it was doing for me, and I could see that it was helping relationships I was having, relationships
Mm.
with my ex-husband, all of those things happened. So many beautiful things happened.
Mm.
And I got to a point, I think I might have been a little bit annoying to people, because all of a sudden I wanted everyone to experience what I was experiencing.
Yeah.
And so you put things, and I started doing things like I would introduce myself as, introduce yourself, Joy, and I'd say, oh, I am a soul and this body is called Joy. And people
Yeah.
would go, oh, hi, Joy. And it was like, oh my goodness.
That's great. So that you did that all the time to lots of
Yes,
people?
I started doing that a lot. And I think someone said to me, oh, not sure in a corporate
Not in
setting
every, yeah.
if you should do that.
That's so cute. I love it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's true, and I absolutely get that, but I know that there are some people who would go, "Woo, she's a little bit
I know.
woo."
And this is over 20 years ago, remember?
But I love it. I love that, because that totally resonates with me. And I know that, if you introduced yourself to me and said that, I'd go, that's so awesome. Let's talk more about that. But I know that there, the muggles of the world would go, okay, that person, I don't get her. I do not get her at all. But were there some people who were curious about why you were saying that, and then it sort of led into,
Yes. So what happened was I was working in corporate at the time, and I was doing some mentoring as well. I was an executive assistant to a CEO, but I was the mentor. I was the senior EA, so I would mentor all the other PAs in the organisation, and I was doing that prior to going to meditation and learning about meditation, and because it was just part of my role to do that. And then afterwards, I was mentoring them, and I found, and this happens in meditation, once you open yourself up to your own personal development, you become more aware of conversations that you're having and conversations that other people are having, and whether you're having above the line or below the line, or you know, those sorts of conversations. And it was apparent to me that these mentoring sessions weren't all that effective and productive, and they were essentially whinge sessions about, you know, I'm not happy doing this, or my boss this, or and I didn't really recognize it prior to being introduced to meditation, and you know, having this beautiful awakening myself. And I thought, oh, I don't enjoy these. You know, I just don't want to have these conversations. It was, you know, really low energy type conversations. So then, you know, I thought about how can these be better. Then I looked up coaching, and I thought maybe if I could do a coaching course of some sort to do these. And I spoke to my boss, who was very open. He was amazing. And I put it to him, and he said yes. And he said, yes, go and do the course. So I went and did a coaching course. I became a certified coach. And then what happened was I started coaching these PAs, and you know, a bit more structure around them, completely different conversations, and you know, it came about some goal setting and some, you know, looking within themselves and personal development and all of those sorts of things.
Relationships, like how are you speaking to other people? Great.
And it was, you know, asking the right questions.
I was about to say,
rather than just getting caught up in their conversation, which was spiraling down. Actually asking the right questions for them to go within and, you know, bring that all up to the surface. And that was really powerful. And then I introduced meditation into those sessions, because I actually introduced it as a visualization. Because the word meditation 20 years ago, people were a bit funny about. So, so it would be a visualization, visualizing themselves, you know, doing what they wanted to do, achieve, rather than what was happening now. And I actually asked my boss if I could introduce meditation into the workplace, and we had a little room in this. It was a very large corporate business, very large in Melbourne, and we had a little room there that was not really used for anything. And I asked if I could turn that into a quiet room rather than a meditation room.
Okay, great. You've got to work within the space that you're in.
Right. So I did that, and I set that all up, and it was just beautiful. And I would run little meditation sessions in there, as well as we had music, and people could just go in there and listen to beautiful quiet music with beautiful lighting. But I would also do some meditation sessions in there, just talk or do some meditations, guide them through meditations. And that's how it all started. That's when I realized, wow, this can benefit so many other people. And then I started doing little meditation workshops outside of the office as well, you know, just local evening meditation workshops. And I continued that, moved around, moved up north to Queensland and did them there. And then I was facilitating meditations on retreats with people that were running retreats. I would facilitate the meditation component, and so it just evolved from that. And every workplace I went to after that, and I went to a few after that, I always introduced a meditation program.
Fantastic. So you're not working in the corporate environment anymore?
No, I'm not working there anymore. I finished. We were up north in Queensland. We've moved back here, but I'm actually still mentoring some of the people in that corporate business. I still work with them. I do some consulting, mentoring, and with people. I still do a bit of that, but no, I've gone with this is my heart work, and this is my soul work, and I've just decided to just work with meditations. I had a hypnotherapy practice for a while, because I've done lots of things. I'm an NLP practitioner, hypnotherapist, you know, EFT, all of those, and coaching. I had my own practice for a while, but meditation is where it is for me. I know in my soul, that's my soul work.
And it's so interesting, isn't it, how we have multiple skills, and we do all these different things, but there's one thing that we usually end up being drawn back to, and this is the thing for you that sort of you've been drawn back to, which is lovely. And the fact that you kept introducing it in all the different environments that you were in, that was a big giveaway, wasn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
That's
and
amazing.
I kind of pushed it aside a bit, I think, about, recognizing that that's really what I should be doing. And I knew, but I just thought, no, I need to be doing a bit of my corporate work and just introduce these things. But, once I made the decision, and it was the pandemic that did it for me, really.
Yeah.
COVID. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So interesting that is happening for a lot of people that I'm talking to. They're saying that, what they were doing before was sort of what they wanted to do, or half what they wanted to do, or maybe they weren't doing what they wanted to do. And this has actually made them go, well, if I can't do what I was doing, I might as well choose something else, and they've been able to actually move in the direction of their heart, which is fantastic. Yeah. So yeah, I love that. That's great. So what you've created during this time, so 2020 has been a time for you to create a new platform, I guess, so that you can actually do the meditations and put them out there. So do you want to share with everyone about the club?
Yes, sure. Well, this all started at the beginning of the pandemic, back in March. I started doing just morning live meditations just on my Facebook group, I was doing it twice a day. And I did over 200 lives.
Wow.
Because I meditate anyway, so I would get on live and share it. And then I had lots and lots of people coming to listen to those lives, and had a group that they were coming to. And that resulted in an introduction of a club, a meditation club, the 123 Meditation Club. So you join that club, and you get a daily meditation. Every day there's a meditation, and I have masterclasses. I've just did a masterclass last week on awakening your soul purpose, in fact. And that evolved out of that. And I started a YouTube channel. So I write and record meditations, and there's beautiful meditations on there, all different types of meditations on my YouTube channel as well. So that supports that as well. So, and that's how I really discovered that this is my heart, this is my soul work. I just knew that that's what I'm meant to be doing, sharing that wisdom and sharing what I have to.
That's fantastic. That's great. And is there something that's sort of been coming up for most people that, have you done a certain topic a number of different times? I mean, or do you find that you're creating new things every time?
Yeah, on my YouTube channel, I create there's lots of topics and lots of times. There's 5 minute, 10 minute, 15 minute, there's silence. There's lots of different meditations for different subjects, different topics. Meditation, essentially, what I have found with the majority of people that I have worked with and taught meditation with and shared meditations with, is that it's always about just releasing stress and anxiety. That whatever it is that's going on is creating stress in the body, in the mind. On the daily meditations, I often have themes. So we'll do the chakras. So we'll do a week and do all the chakras. Or I have one day we go from sound to silence, and different ones. This week, for example, I've just it's the light. It's just what comes to me. I feel that people may need, and we're doing meditations on the inner light, or protective light, those sorts of things, and just kind of download things.
That's great. I mean, you have the skills now do you find that when you first started you were very structured, and you sort of did things exactly how your teacher taught you, it was very structured, and then you started to branch out and become more flexible and do that more intuitive sort of download thing, and it was better?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. When I first started, I would just read a script, essentially. I mean, I write them now. I write the scripts to record, but I would just read that but just with the experience and working with others, I find that if I'm more intuitive and I actually go into the meditation myself,
Yeah.
It all just downloads. I don't, I can go now. I used to be frightened to do a meditation and not know exactly what that meditation was going to be. But
Yep.
I can go into one now and just allow whatever comes, because I think whatever comes is what's needed at the time.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I do have, there's definitely structure around the sequence of the meditation, because with meditations there, there are this coming in and coming out, and there's
Right.
sequences that the rest just kind of flows in.
Yes. And that's really interesting, because it's a similar situation when I do my Reiki courses and when I do my Reiki sessions. I find the same thing happen, that when I first started, I was very structured about the way that I did things. And then it's become more Pip Reiki, it's
Yeah.
the way that the energy flows through me, and the way that the energy works is how I teach it and how I do my sessions. And when I let it do what it's supposed to do, when I let the flow happen, it's way more powerful than when the little Pip, like you were saying, the joy, the soul knows to let it flow, but the little ego wants to control it and go, it needs to be like this, and I need to heal this person and fix them in some way. And I find that really interesting, that shift that happens at a certain point, and it's different for everyone, that we go through this process of going, wait a minute, this is not me. This is
Yes.
it's not me, for me, my job to fix this person. How do you sort of have you reconciled that?
Well, that's a really interesting question, because I struggled with this when I first started hypnotherapy, because I'm a hypnotherapist.
Yep.
People would come to me
Mm.
expecting me to fix them.
Yeah.
And all through, your coach training and the hypnotherapy training, when I was doing that you're taught that you don't actually fix them. You're just there to help them to find what they have within,
Yeah.
to improve whatever it is they want to improve. I'm just a guide. I'm just that guide. And with hypnotherapy in particular, we've all, and you'll understand this, we all have within us everything that we need,
Yeah.
to perform at our best, or be the best, or be the person, or fix ourselves.
Yeah.
We can heal ourselves with our thoughts and our feelings, and just focusing within, rather
Mm.
than having someone else. You can't, it's about people. A lot of people wouldn't take responsibility. That was really difficult for me. So I would feel pressure,
Mm.
because they would come in saying, yes, you're going to fix me, you're going to stop me smoking, or you're going to stop
Yeah.
me doing these things, or you're going to
Yeah.
fix this.
Yeah.
And no, I can't. That's not my role here to fix.
No. And
You're not
that's
broken for a start.
right. I was about to say,
You don't need fixing.
yes, exactly. It's more of I remember when I was listening to Robert Holden
Yeah.
once, and he said that, that concept of you're not actually broken, there's nothing wrong with you. Essentially, there's nothing wrong with you. It's about remembering that there's nothing wrong with you, and letting go of all of those, misconceptions and beliefs that we have that are blocking us from remembering that there's nothing wrong with us. And that's actually what makes us have that dis-ease in our lives.
Correct. And that's what the
Yeah.
soul's role is, to help you
Yes.
remember.
Right. Yeah. And that's where meditation is beautiful, because it taps you into that soul connection,
Yeah.
which I think a lot of people don't really get that. They go, oh, we're just breathing, or, there's sort of this misconception around meditation being, you're chanting, or you're singing, or you're, whatever it is that you choose to do, however you meditate. And when I realized that it was everything, all of those things, or none of those things, to get you to the place where you're just not your ego anymore, you're just your soul. That's the aha that we have.
That's the most difficult part for people because to drop your ego, to let go of that, is really difficult. It can be difficult, because
Right.
it's a fight against that.
Yeah.
That,
Well, we that's who we think we are.
yes.
And if you're dropping away or letting go or surrendering who you think you are, That's huge. That means your identity, your identity is in question. So yeah, of course, that's one of the big things about that's why we practice it, on a regular basis.
Yes, and the thing with meditation, it's very subtle. It's not like if you think about the gym, for example, you go to the gym and you do one workout, you don't come back having, big muscles, and you've got to continue doing your workout for your body, for the external body to improve. And people will go to the gym and they'll go along and do all of this work on the external, but meditation is actually gym for the mind, because unless you've got what's going on in your mind up here, working for you, whatever you do on the external, and you've got to go within to the heart in the meditation, but you're not going to fix, I guess, what it is you're trying to do. Often the gym and exercise is a distraction, so that you don't have to, it takes you away from the stress for that certain amount of time. But when you come back from it, you have to face that stress, and you have to face anxiety, all of those things. What meditation does, if you have a daily or a regular practice, very subtle, and it does release that. It naturally releases and heals the stress. And people often don't notice the benefits of it until somebody else notices the benefits of it.
Yeah, and someone says, "What have you been doing? You're different than you used to be." Yep.
Yeah, and it's very subtle, and it's just the practice of it. It helps with all areas of your life. If you're meditating daily, you'll have the motivation to keep going to the gym. You'll be inspired to do the things that you want to do. It's so incredibly powerful. And even recently, there was a Harvard study recently this year about meditation, and a regular daily meditation practice can increase your immunity by 36%. So it's incredibly healing.
Yeah.
And that's been my experience. When I started, it was not only a healing journey for my soul, for me, but physically as well. And you talked about the dis-ease in the body, and that's what stress is. It's
Yeah.
it heals all of that, and it gives you the clarity to allow you to see and have an awareness of when you may be getting stressed, a clarity that is, well, this is what I need to do. And the breath is that, the best thing you can do is breathe. Remember that you are breathing. We don't really breathe. If you have an awareness of breath, it's coming back to that present moment, and that's what it does. It's not about not thinking, because if you think about not thinking,
then you're thinking. Yeah, I know. I think that's another misconception that a lot of people have, is that when you do meditation, you're going to not think at all. And I always say to people that, even the monks on the mountain have thoughts. They think, oh, I'm hungry, or I want to go to the toilet, or, oh, that's a nice sunset, or whatever it is. They still think. They're just better at letting it go. Once they've had the thought, then they let it go. And then they have another thought, and then they let it go. So
in each thought.
Yeah, it's something that a lot of people have a misconception about when they start doing meditation. So one of the things that you offer for people who get in touch with you is you have a free meditation download that's on your website that people can access to sort of listen to and try you out.
On the website, there's lots of meditations there you can purchase, or there is a download there. And I recently did an 11-11 challenge. You can download those 11 meditations, 11-minute meditations.
Yeah.
And the other thing is there's a meditation for beginners ebook, which has a lot of information about meditation. That's a free download as well. You can go in.
And so they can go to the is that the 123?
No, that's website? Meditation for the Soul.
Meditation for the Soul.
Yep. They can go on there. The meditation club is 123meditationclub.com.
Cool. Great. And they can come in through the Facebook page as well.
Yes, the Facebook group is Meditation for the Soul. So just come in and join that Facebook group.
Yeah,
And there's a whole lot of information in there. And then
great.
that will take you into the club as well.
Fantastic. And that's great. So people can join you and sort of get to know you first, and then they can join the club, or they can, purchase the meditations as well if they have a particular one that they're really drawn to. So that's
That's right.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I love that.
I do actually do personalized meditations. If I've got I do some work for somebody in the UK who does some work with them around money issues,
Mhm.
and they have a money mantra that they
Okay.
need to read every day, and I actually record that as a meditation for them. So,
Oh,
you know,
nice.
I can do those personalized things as well.
Fantastic. That's great. So, yeah, so that people can get in touch with you obviously through the website or the Facebook page. And that's really cool. So, Meditation for the Soul is where you need to go, folks, to get in touch with Joy. And also, Kevin is involved in that as well.
Yes, he does
Yeah.
all of the behind the scenes stuff for me. And he does some of the meditations as well.
Yeah, so that's your new partner.
Yes.
Fabulous man. So you might see him on the page as well, folks. If you go to the Facebook page, this is not Joy.
Yeah.
That's because it's Kevin.
Yeah. We've been teaching meditation together for many years. Yeah.
Yeah, that's lovely. It's nice that you have someone that you can,
Yeah.
share this journey with. So thank you
Yes.
so much for joining me on Showcase Your Biz. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. And we will see you again soon, I'm sure. So
Yeah.
thanks,
Thanks.
everybody. If you would like to have your business showcased on Spiritual Events Directory, just give me a buzz at Pip Coleman Author Coach. That's my Facebook page, or you can come through email at pipcoleman@yahoo.com.au. Thank you so much again, and we'll see you next time on Showcase Your Biz.